Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another MLB video where today we are going to be counting down the top 5 people who could be traded at the MLB trade deadline. Thank you guys for the support on the last two videos. Just before I get into this one, and let me know in the comments if you agree with this list. Also, be sure to subscribe for fast baseball news and other baseball content like this, and like the video if you want to see more. So going on to our first person you can see on the screen is Kris Bryant, and here are some potential teams. The Dodgers, who I could definitely see trying to pick up Bryant because he sort of transitioned a little bit more into the outfield, but he can also play first and third, and we know that they like to give rest to Turner and Muncy, but they did just get Pujols and Sasugo, so their infield is pretty locked down right now. But if they do go out and trade AJ Pollock, or there is an injury and there's an opening in the outfield, I could definitely see Bryant going over to the Dodgers. I could definitely see him going over to the Braves as well, a team that was linked to him in the offseason but didn't pull the trigger because they have Austin Riley and they have some other third base depth. But I feel like that if they're really in it in that division, they're going to go after Kris Bryant. Another team that's sort of a long shot is the Blue Jays because they don't really like to spend money or spend prospects in trades. But if the Blue Jays are really struggling at third base, if Biggio isn't cutting it, then I could definitely see the Blue Jays making a move for Kris Bryant as a rental. They've done it before, even though it was under a different front office when they picked up Tulowitzki, Donaldson, Price a couple years ago or 6 years ago in their postseason run. The Mariners are another team. If they're in the race in their division, they could definitely go out and pick up Bryant, especially if they move Kyle Seager, because I see Kyle Seager going to the Blue Jays. But they could pick up Bryant if they trade Seager, or they can move either Seager or Bryant to first, or Bryant into the outfield, even though their outfield is pretty stacked with Kalnick and Lewis and Haniger, so I don't see him playing the outfield, but the Mariners are a bit of a long shot. And then the last team for Bryant is the Mets. The Mets were linked to him in the offseason, and I could definitely see them getting him if Villar or Davis aren't playing too well at the trade deadline. So those are my teams for Bryant. Going on to number 2, we have Trevor Story, and there wasn't a lot of teams because most of the teams that are going to be in the playoff hunt already have certified shortstops, but the Yankees have Gleyber Torres, and he does not play shortstop at the major league level defensively consistently, so I could definitely see Story going over to the Yankees in a trade, but I do see him going over there in free agency. I think it's inevitable at this point. I think he's going to end up in different colored pinstripes because the Rockies wear pinstripes. I think he's going to end up in the Yankees pinstripes by the end of the year or next offseason, or this offseason, sorry. And the Brewers are the other team, but they're sort of a long shot. I don't really see them getting Story, but that's the only competition if the Brewers are even in it, or any team that's looking for a shortstop because theirs is injured. Going on to our third person on the list, we have Max Scherzer. Same contending teams. The Yankees are always looking for starting pitchers, especially if Kluber or Tyone are injured or not performing well. Someone who can pitch behind Cole in the playoffs and maybe get a 2 out of 2 game start on the other team with that 1-2 punch of Scherzer and Cole. Definitely could see that happening. The Dodgers are another team that have shown they're not afraid to spend a lot of money to go over the luxury cap, and the Dodgers like to have the best starting rotation in the world. So I could definitely see them going for Scherzer. So in the World Series, you have to deal with Scherzer, Bauer, Buehler, and Kershaw, and Urias. So that'd be definitely a good fit for Scherzer. The Padres, definitely another team that are always looking at starting pitchers. They have dealt with some injuries in the past, like not Chris Paddock, Mike Clevenger. So I could definitely see them being in the mix for Scherzer if there's some injury needs. The Blue Jays are a team who are always looking for starters, especially now because their starting pitching staff isn't too strong besides Ryu and maybe Robbie Ray when he's at his best. But the Jays could definitely be a fit for Scherzer if the price is right. I only see the Nationals even dealing Scherzer if they're at the bottom of the standings. They don't really see them going anywhere anytime soon. And the White Sox have a pretty stacked pitching staff, especially right now if everyone working well except for Giolito. He's been struggling a bit lately. But if there are some injuries or somebody isn't performing well, I could definitely see the White Sox picking up Scherzer and making a run at the World Series. Going on to number 4, we have Issac Suarez on the Cincinnati Reds. He can play some third. He's transitioned a bit to shortstop. I could definitely see him going over to the Mets, a team that was linked to him in the offseason but never made the move. He has a lot of power, but he's been off to a slow start to start this year. I could definitely see him going to the Mets. The Rockies, the only way I see him going to the Rockies is if he's part of a Trevor Story deal and the Reds pick up Story because they are always looking for a shortstop, and the Rockies want someone who has team control left on their contract, so Suarez is locked in for like the next 4 years or something like that. So I could definitely see the Rockies maybe picking him up and using his home run hitting skills to hit a lot of home runs in Coors Field. The Red Sox, I don't really see. They're more of a long shot because they have Devers and Bogarts, but maybe he can transition over to first base or second base and get some playing time in. If Boston's still in the mix, I could definitely see him on the Red Sox. And then the Brewers, who again looking for a shortstop or a third baseman, because they haven't really had anyone take control of those positions yet, I could definitely see Suarez end up there if the Brewers don't land Trevor Story or someone. Going on to our final option, we have Matt Chapman, or our final pick is Matt Chapman, number 5. The teams that I selected for him are the Mets because they were linked to him in the offseason. They're always looking for a third baseman, especially like Chapman, who could be an all-star, great defense, pretty good offense. So I could definitely see the Mets in for him. Sort of like Chris Bryant, I could see the Blue Jays being in on Chapman. They were linked to him in the offseason, but went with Kevin Biggio instead. So if Biggio isn't performing at third base, especially defensively, and the Blue Jays want to add another monster bat to their lineup, I could definitely see the Blue Jays making a push for Chapman because the Blue Jays have a lot of young prospects, especially in the middle infield, that they could deal. So I could definitely see them being a fit for Chapman. The Yankees, only if Gio Urshela is injured or if Urshela is playing shortstop, because he does play shortstop sometimes, and Gleyber Torres is part of a trade for someone, and the KC Royals, even though they've fallen back a bit, I feel like the Royals could get back into things and could look for a third baseman. If they don't get Bryant, I could definitely see them getting Chapman. And those are my list for them. Some honorable mentions. We have Javier Baez, who I don't expect to get traded. I think he's going to sign an extension with the Cubs. Anthony Rizzo, who I definitely think is going to be traded. AJ Pollock of the Dodgers, who I think is going to be traded if the Dodgers pick up Chris Bryant or someone. Anyone on Kansas City or San Francisco, there's a lot of 1-year or 2-year deals that the teams are looking to flip for some young prospects, because San Francisco is about to have a lot of money come off of their books, so I could definitely see them flipping a bunch of people and just rebuilding from there. Miguel Sano on the Twins. The Twins have been playing pretty awful right now, and I could definitely see them moving him. I don't see the Twins moving Buxton or anyone. Luis Castillo, who has been statistically the worst pitcher in baseball, or Sonny Gray, 2 pitchers who could definitely be on the move. Josh Hader, who's been linked to the Padres in the offseason, could definitely go there this season. And not Liam Hendricks, but Kyle Hendricks on the Cubs. He's been linked to the Blue Jays. I could definitely see him going there as well. He hasn't had his best year either, so the price might be a little bit low. Blue Jays could pick him up, or another team who's looking for pitchers can pick him up, because when Hendricks is at his best, he's really good. So let me know what you think about this list. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.